Marty, I've got the videos all done of our trip. Do you want to come and look at them and maybe make a few comments?
Sounds great. I'd love to do that.
Okay, it's our first day out. We're going to try to get to Malibu, and there's an anchorage up there called Paradise Cove, about 40 miles.
Right, and here we are. We're passing LA Harbor.
LA Harbor, there's a big container ship.
And what's next?
Well, we're lucky. We've got the wind kind of out of the south, so we're on a real close reach. That's the lighthouse at Point Vincini, and we had a nice reach all the way across Santa Monica Bay at about 5 or 6 knots.
It was a beautiful day.
That's Point Doom. Look at all that smoke in the sky.
And here we are at Paradise Cove and a beautiful sunset.
Paradise Cove is a great stopping place. It's well protected. There's a lot going on ashore. This is where all the beautiful movie star homes are. Every afternoon, boats were coming in from Marina del Rey. They'd drop anchor, have lunch, go swimming, and then they would disappear. We had some great sunsets. Anyway, I think 2 days there. Now we're heading for Ventura. One thing, if you want to go towards Santa Barbara, you want to leave early in the morning. Try to get wherever you want to get by noon. It took us about 4 hours, and now we are entering Ventura Harbor.
We really enjoy it there.
Ventura's great, really. It's just a happening place. There's all kinds of new condos going in. There's lots of new docks. The people are great. There's lots to do and lots to see. That's the yacht club, Ventura Yacht Club.
That's our boat, Anita.
Right, we rented a slip there, $50 a night. We got internet and clean bathrooms. Another great thing about Ventura, there's sidewalks everywhere. That's Ventura Keys up there for $1.5 million. You can get yourself a bayfront home with a 40-foot dock. Probably some of the guys toss in their boat.
So we're going out to look at all the boats. We're going around the different fingers of the harbor.
That's Orient. That's a beautiful S&S boat that used to be in Newport Beach. We've been in Ventura now 3 days. We're going to leave, and now we're going to do the passage out to Santa Cruz Island.
So it looks nice and calm so far. However, we'll see in a minute once we get to the breakwater, things start to change because what kind of wind are we looking for?
The winds were predicted about 18 to 20 knots, and it is going to be headwinds, so it's going to be a pretty bumpy ride.
Starting to get bumpy now. Bucking Bronco?
We got a reef in the main. It's only about 20 miles. Okay, we're about halfway there. That's Anacapa Island on the left side. Spray's coming aboard. We got on our fall weather gear. The nice thing about going out to Santa Cruz, though, is that once you get across the channel and you get in the lee of the island, the wind drops off and almost drops off to nothing. And once you get into Smugglers, look at it, nice and calm. It's very warm. I think it's time for a cocktail.
That's right, and we celebrate. We had a good crossing, and we're happy to be there, so we're celebrating with happy hour.
Right, we haven't been back here for like 2 years. It's a holiday, the holiday weekend is coming up, and so there's quite a few boats coming out from Ventura. They're coming from Santa Barbara, and this is some of the other boats that were out cruising the same time we were.
And that's Anacapa Island in the background.
That beautiful yacht came in, and look at night, they've got spreader lights going clear to the top, about 100 feet in the air.
So the next morning we head out, and we are going to Santa Rosa Island.
Well, before Santa Rosa, actually, we're going to go on up and try to find a nice little cove. And we did find one. It was called Albert's Cove. And we've got this whole little cove all to our south. Nice sandy beach, calm water. It's about 80 degrees. Luckily, we've got a great big awning, so we have shade, and life is good.
All these islands are part of Channel Islands National Park, and they're well protected, and they're like California's idea of the Galapagos.
After 2 days at Albert's, we just went around the corner, and we went to Cochise, Prietos, which is a very, very popular anchorage on the backside of Santa Cruz.
It's a big anchorage and there's a lot of room for big boats like that one and smaller boats.
One thing about cochise prietos is that my father, about 1935, borrowed his father's boat, brought it up here. There was a big south swell running. In the middle of the night, they drug anchor. The boat went ashore and ended up being a total loss at Cochise Prietos on the boat. My dad and his friends were stranded on the beach for 3 days. Finally, a fisherman picked them up and took them to Santa Barbara. So this is that beach right there in 1935. My dad was there trying to survive. And,
Morning, Marty.
They later came back and salvaged the boat.
Goodbye,
Okay,
Cochise
reveille, Marty.
Prietos.
Time to get going. It's daybreak. Let's go to Santa Rosa Island.
All right, ready to get up
It's just about 6 o'clock in the morning, isn't it?
yeah, it's about 6.
I know you want your
No
coffee,
flopper
right?
stoppers down.
Right. It helps. Early morning starts. I need my coffee.
Once again, we're moving around real early. The wind usually doesn't come up till noon or 1 o'clock. The first thing we go by is Gull Island. It's probably about 5 miles from Cochise. Then after that, we head out into the channel and cross over to Santa Rosa.
This has a lot of really shallow water, so we looked at the chart to get around it.
A lot of porpoise, a lot of pelicans, a lot of sea life. Beautiful sunrise. This is our arrival at Beecher's Bay on Santa Rosa Island. That's a Cal 246. Look at, he put a little short mast in it. He probably has a big diesel engine, and he just made a motor sailor out of it. Pretty darn good idea.
There's the pier or the wharf. That's where the people can dock when they come in to go camping or hiking.
For many, many, many years, they've done farming out here. Island packers run some boats out. All the time you do see other boats in the vicinity, fish boats. That's Santa Cruz way in the background.
And the next morning, Captain Ernie takes us out.
Okay, we're now going to go to San Miguel Island. Twice we've been up here. Twice we tried to go to San Miguel. Winds were 30, 35 knots. Seas were 8 and 10 feet. And we never did it. The heat wave has laid down the wind and the seas. We're now approaching Kyler Harbor. This is probably the prettiest harbor out on any of the Channel Islands.
And this was my first time there, and I agree, it is absolutely beautiful.
Actually, about 300 or 400 years ago, Cabrillo brought his whole fleet in here, and he spent the whole winter. How about that? That's Prince Island, way out there all by itself.
And now we have a beautiful moonrise.
Can you believe that? It's calm weather, calm water, heat wave, nice and warm, and a full moon every night.
And beautiful white beaches complete with seals.
Look at that water. Look at that sand.
So we had to come on shore so we could walk on those beaches.
Check this out. These little guys, they take their flippers. When it gets too hot, they throw sand on their backs to cool off.
Unless they're really unhappy because we're walking around near them, then they back up and voice their displeasure.
Right, these guys were sound asleep. I don't think they appreciated us coming by.
We enjoyed our walk until we got to these rocks.
Look at that bay. Isn't that absolutely beautiful?
It is, and I'm trying to put on my shoes so I can walk over those rocks. We changed our mind.
Okay, Marty's fixing our outboard motor there. We got a bunch of seaweed around the propeller, but it looks like she's got it out.
There's one of our stowaways.
Okay, we spent 2 days out there. Then the weather report was that the winds were going to start getting heavy. So on the third morning, we took off. This was another boat that came in during the night. We stuck our nose out. It was blowing about 15, 18 knots. But the good news is we're going to Santa Barbara, and it's going to be a reach all the way.
So we cross over, we see, I think that's Santa Cruz Island, and then we're underway. And I'm bundled up with about 5 layers. It's a little chilly.
We're in the shipping lanes. We saw quite a few container ships, and you got to be careful out there, especially in the fog. We saw lots of big schools of porpoise. We are having a great sail. We got all the sails up. We still got a reef in the main, but we're doing probably 7.5 for 40 miles. It was a wonderful sail. About 5 in the afternoon, we arrived at Santa Barbara. We didn't even know it, but Santa Barbara Yacht Club is having a Wednesday night race. And as we came in the harbor, all their boats were heading out the harbor and heading to the starting line of the race. It was kind of like a welcoming committee. Quite nice. This is just kind of down around the waterfronts in Santa Barbara. It's really an interesting place. That's a 100-year-old yacht. That's a little Monterey fish boat, probably 80 years old. That's the museum. They were closed because of the COVID.
And a charter boat to take out and a wonderful restaurant.
Brophy Brothers. You can't go to Santa Barbara waterfront and not have a good fish dinner at Brophy Brothers. More scenes around the waterfront. Santa Barbara Yacht Club. Normally they would give us guest privileges, but this year, sorry, Charlie. We had good security there. The docks are great. We paid about $50 a night.
Now, one day we decided to walk on the breakwater.
Yeah, we decided to go out to the end of the breakwater. That's probably the most beautiful boat in Santa Barbara, about a 70-footer. Anyway, out at the end of the breakwater, we didn't even know about this, but this is the memorial to those 36 people that lost their lives on that fire aboard the dive boat. The what was the name of that boat? Conception. Conception, yes. Horrible tragedy, and it's just been 1 year. There's a bronze plaque out here now, but look at all the people too. They're all out there at the end of the breakwater playing in the surf. One thing about all this hot weather, fog can just come in at any minute, so you got to be careful. Quite often it would be nice, then it would be foggy. These are scenes just around the dock in Santa Barbara. Lots of great boats. One afternoon we left the harbor, and no trip to Santa Barbara would be complete without going to Stearns Wharf, which is a very, very large attraction. It's really neat to get way out there and look back. The next day we went downtown and decided to see what was going on State Street. State Street had been totally closed to all cars and traffic. The restaurants had moved tables and chairs out there. One sad thing, there are a lot of storefronts that were empty, a lot of places for lease. The virus has really taken its toll on small businesses on State Street.
So we had ice cream, I got to do some shopping, and we continued to walk along and check out the restaurants.
We stopped for a glass of wine. It's probably about 90 degrees. This was really a hot day. This is right downtown. Not too much smoke though, we were lucky there. And here was one of those ducks parked right on the side of the street. People are boarding it. You can go aboard, they go down to the ramp and they give you a tour of the harbor. And that's my son Tyler. He came up one night and had dinner with us. Okay, 5 days in Santa Barbara, and we decided it's time to go back to Catalina Island. We headed on out, and about halfway there we decided, weather didn't look good. They're talking Santana winds, so instead we went to Channel Islands Marina, which we hadn't been to for a couple of years.
So coming in, it was smoky and foggy, but it was okay. There's our welcoming committee of sea lions.
This is right near the town of Oxnard. It's a wonderful marina, lots of boats. That's the guest dock. You have to rent the dock from the harbor master. They charge you $60 a night. The restrooms aren't really all that nice, but they did throw in about a dozen sea lions right on the end of the dock that barked all night long. One evening we took a little harbor cruise around the bay. That's the Mistress. That's a boat my brother Owen and I raced in the Honolulu race about 25 years ago. Lots of docks, a lot of empty docks. You want to rent a slip, probably not too expensive. That would be a good place to look. That's the sun. Sun's going down, fog's coming in. We got the radar reflector back up. We don't like going out into the fog, but we want to now try to get to Catalina, so usually it burns off early in the morning. I mean, it was thick fog. Okay, we got the jib up. We're out in the steamship lanes again, we got the radar reflector up. We called a ship. I was concerned to see whether the radar reflector was really working. And the guys called back and says, wow, you're a fantastic target on our radar. We see you really, really good. Well, that made us feel good. It's nice to know that even though we can't see them, they can see us.
So we made it to Catalina and we went to the isthmus.
We love the isthmus. We've already been over there about 4 other times this summer, and it's just always great. Never lets you down. A lot of smoke. We always go for a hike. Here we hiked all the way across the isthmus to Catalina Harbor. It was very smoky, probably not too healthy. Next day we left, we went down to White's Cove. We've been out 26 days on our little cruise. We decided to spend the night here and the next morning head back to Newport Beach. Lucked out again, we got a nice westerly breeze. We got all the sails up. It took us about 4 hours, nice sail home.
And here we are. We're arriving at Newport Harbor.
We love Newport Harbor. I've lived there my whole life. In my mind, it's the best harbor in the whole world, even though we did come back to a lot of smoke.
It was worth it though. It was a wonderful trip.
Great trip, Marty. Let's do it again next year, okay? Give me 5.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Except you